So, welcome to part two of Working Culture in Korea. And today we will keep discussing a little bit more about hierarchy. So, last time we discussed a little bit about the background of hierarchy and why it is so important. But with this kind of hierarchical culture, there are differences when it comes to work with non hierarchical cultures. And one of the differences can be a very strong hierarchical companies versus flat organizations. So between those two, there are many differences. For example, in very hierarchical company, a promotion can be based on seniority, which means literally how much time has passed since someone joined the company until present time. Rather than in a flat company, the promotion will usually be based on the performance and not seniority. So if you're doing well, you can be promoted earlier than someone who is not performing so well but has been longer than you in the company. So that, for example, can be one difference. So another possible gap can be related to the chain of command or the access to different roles. So for example, in very hierarchical company, I can pass through 4 or 5 people before I reach the person I need to talk to because their position is a little bit higher. While in a flat organization, I can either contact the person with higher position directly or maybe go through 1 or 2 steps. So that can be another possible difference. So there are many differences, and those are just a couple of examples, but it can definitely create a gap in the way that we are working. Another possible gap can be the relationship status. So in a very hierarchical company, relationship status is very strict. It's not so fluid. While in non-hierarchical company or business or even culture, relationship status can be very fluid and it can be flexible and it can change all the times. So it will be more strict versus flexible. Another gap that we have is gap in communications. So basically, the way that we are talking in hierarchical company, it will be strict. When we are part of a strong hierarchy, it will be harder to express our opinions. So all those differences in communications as well. Another possible gap can be adapting to a new organization. So it doesn't matter if we're going from hierarchical to flat or to flat hierarchical. Either way, between those two, adaptation can take time and can be very difficult to do. Other than that, there would probably be other many different gaps that you can think of. So while those gaps exist, it can constantly create a difficult working environment. So what can we do about it? Of course, we cannot change Korean society and we cannot change Korean company culture and organizational culture. What we can do is first we can understand it. And we can understand that hierarchical set of mind is part of that organization. And it's not bad or good, it's not right or wrong, it's just different. So if we're coming from a different background, just understanding this kind of mindset, oh, the Korean company, they have many, many different levels, and I need to go through 4 or 5 people before I can reach to a high level position. And just knowing that, you can be ready to work with Korean companies. Another positive point that we can focus on, hierarchy or hierarchical company can create a sort of order. And this order, it's easy to understand guidelines. It's easy to understand actions because everybody has their own role, everything has its own process, and everything comes to its place. So if the case that we're working with Koreans, we can understand that because of this hierarchy, it's clear to me what I should do. So for example, if I want to talk to a higher position, it is clear to me that I have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't need to guess. I don't need to wonder. I don't need to write 30 emails to people. I just need to follow that order and I will reach that person. So basically we have clear guidelines of what we should do. Another positive thing that happens with hierarchy is the different roles that we have. And I'm not talking about the different positions that we have in a company, for example, marketing or finance, not those kind of roles, but a role of me as a part of this hierarchy. So for example, if we're talking about the team, we have the manager, and it's very clear, my roles and responsibilities are clear, and I know that as a manager I have the responsibilities for my employees and for their well-being. I don't need to only take care of their performance in the company side, but also the personal side. As me as an employee, I know I can trust my manager. I know that if I have a problem, I can go to my manager and my manager will help me. And in return, I know that I trust my manager and I do as my manager asks. So those kind of roles and responsibilities are clear. And again, not only thinking about the negative side, but also the positive side of hierarchy. And that is the end of part 2. I hope you were inspired to think a little bit about your relationship when you're working with Koreans. And I will see you in part 3.